Good morning, traders. Here we go again. It's Wednesday, January 11th, 2023, and we're going to try again. All right, so what happened? I've been watching the pre-market. I took a couple trades, made $200. After commissions, $172. That seems a little weird, but I'll double check that. But yes, the realized P&L is $172.14. There was quite a bit of good action. This surprised me here. I didn't take this, but I surely, if I would have saw it at the time, I would have taken it right here. I would have been looking for a short right underneath this bar here, and you see it went nowhere. Just immediate turnaround. Look at that V bottom. I mean, amazing. There was a couple other opportunities. You might have been able to get something here, but this trade here was intriguing. This is where I did it. This is sort of a different trade than I've talked about the last since I started this stream. This is just basically a breakout of this downward trend. I know that the price action guys would expect after a break of this trend a new low, but I am suspicious of that strategy. I mean, again, I should be more of a back tester, but I'm really not. I don't have the patience for it. So I kind of, over the years, have adopted other people's strategies that claim to have back-tested things. Probably stupid way to do it, but that's the way I do it. I'm just being honest with you. Anyway, so you'll take a nice downtrend like this. You know, it doesn't even have to be an actual trend line, just something that gives the general direction. And as soon as it breaks that, you just follow it up, and you can see it happens all the time in here. I mean, you know, there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's the opening bell, and we're off. Let's turn our bell off. All right. Anyway, it's an intriguing strategy. I mean, that's kind of, what's his name, Patrick Whalen's strategy, and it is pretty damn effective. So anyway, so we can play with that one, but that is the trade I took right here, and I only took a few points out of it, 4 points or something, and it went up a lot more than that. What was that move? Like, say, around here to here. 6 points. Everything looks so much bigger in the pre-market. It looks like, you know, that looks like a 20-point move, but these are very small bars. All right, let's see what we have. The market's already open. I kind of got the stream started a little bit late. I have an evaluation account that I was screwing around with yesterday afternoon. I don't normally trade in the afternoon, and I messed it up pretty good. Out of a $2,500 drawdown, I only have about 1,000 left of it. So I may just trade that one aggressively today and let it blow up if it wants to blow up. I have a lot of accounts. That one's just an eval, and I think I got it for like $18 or something. It was one of the 80% accounts. If you use that code that's on the screen, you'll get 50% off of your Apex account, which is what that's the only thing I trade is the so-called PA accounts, or evaluation accounts from prop firms, so-called prop firms. Real prop firms might take exception to that description, but in any case, it's a cheap way to get involved in futures without wrecking your savings account. For instance, yesterday, that the evaluation account that I told you I you know, went down $1,500 on goofing around with it. If I haven't even blown it up yet, but if I had blown it up, it was like at the time I got that one for 80% or 90. I think it was 90% off on that one for the first month. I'm out $18. Even with the 50% off, you're out less than $40 if you blow it up. Otherwise, you can just have, if you trade micros, it's very difficult to blow up an account with a $2,500 drawdown. Anyway, if you're interested, go ahead and use that code on the screen to give it a whirl. All right, so we're pulling back here to the 105 EMA, which is the equivalent of the 21 EMA on the 5-minute over here. NASDAQ here is also pulling back hard. This is a NASDAQ. I just sort of watch it. Used to trade the NASDAQ almost exclusively, but I found that the ES is a little more responsive, and I think it's because of the massive amount of volume that the ES has versus the NASDAQ. It moves a little smoother. The moves are very similar, but a little more smooth, I think, on the ES. Could just be my imagination, but that's what a lot of people seem to think. This is the 15-minute ES down here. So let's see what happens. So, you know, what we were talking about earlier, you could do something like this and play that breakout, but that wasn't much of a pullback, but that was probably a decent trade off of this 105. That's a very relatively safe trade. You can see here's hits 1, 2, 3, fourth hit. They all bounced off of this 105 EMA very nicely. But I generally will wait the first 10 or 15 minutes just to let things settle in. If you're finding any entertainment value to this, feel free to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you'll know when I'm going live or when I post any kind of videos. I wouldn't mind starting to get involved in a few tutorials on how to work with NinjaTrader or how the prop firms work or my strategy. So you might take a look at it, see if it's interesting. Well, we'll see. It takes work, and I'm very lazy. I should remind you that I am just some random guy on the internet, and don't copy my trades. I'm not a professional. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just doing this the best I can, just like you guys. In fact, I'm hoping at some point I can get some feedback from you guys and tell me what strategies you use and what you've had good luck with. Let's watch this for another 5-10 minutes, see how it settles out. Tomorrow we have some numbers that should move this market, and that may result in some low volatility today, people holding off until tomorrow's meeting. But we'll see. The morning session was actually, or the pre-market session was actually pretty eventful. This was pretty nice movement overnight. And this last, from 6 Central, so 7 Eastern till now, was a nice upward move. Put some lines up here, see if anything makes sense. That's a pretty decent looking trend. If that music is too loud, let me know. It sounds good in my headphones, but I don't know what's coming out over YouTube. We're breaking out of this channel here, and most breakouts of a channel like this will fail and pull back in, and this is actually more of an overshoot because it's in the same direction of the trend. So an overshoot will frequently end up in an extreme to the other side of the channel, and we'll have a undershoot or whatever you want to call it. It'll break below this channel. So this is another example of what I was talking about earlier, where you can just draw a general trend line, not exact even, and you know, give it a decent angle. You know, let's call it even 45 degrees, and you lay it up against here on a nice pullback, and when it breaks that line, you can usually get a few points out of this. I'd like to get in on this thing long, but on a break like this, I would tend to expect it to pull back to the bottom of this channel. Starting to get choppy right in here, some consolidation, so I'll have to watch which way it wants to break out of here. We're not going to do anything until we see a clear break. Across the board though, even if you're looking at the 5-minute, we have a pretty strong uptrend here. I guess my bias would be bullish today. Tomorrow, there's news tomorrow. Let's see what that is. Tomorrow's a big day. Let's see, Thursday. Yeah, CPI comes out at 8:30 Eastern time. That's going to be a market mover one way or another. All eyes are on that because if prices come down, in CPI, that's basically inflation. If inflation's coming down, that would be a good thing because that would make it less likely that the Fed will raise interest rates again, or fewer of them going forward. But if inflation's still moving up, there's a good chance we're going to get more interest rate hikes. So obviously that's going to move the market down. A lower CPI should move the market up. The irony is that if the market starts to rally, the Fed is going to feel that that these interest rates are not being effective yet. Obviously, that's only one of their things that they look at, and I'm not an economist, but that was their goal in the first place, is to get inflation down to 2, 3, 4% in a rallying stock market, and is not going to help bring down interest rates. Yeah, we're still chopping here. I don't want anything to do with this. Like I was saying, I was screwing around yesterday afternoon with an evaluation account. I normally don't trade past 11 Eastern, but I had some time on my hands, and I had this evaluation account that I paid very little for, so I was taking some aggressive trades and ended up going down $1,500. So I only have about $1,000 left in the drawdown on that account, but it doesn't matter. I mean, if I blow it up, I'm out $18 for the cost of the Apex account. If you want to open up an Apex account, you can get 50% off of any of their accounts. I use their 50K account. Use that code that's up on the screen there, and I think they send me back a little bit of money on that if you do. And it really is the only way to trade futures, in my opinion, because the risk is so little, and you can make just as much money on one of these Apex accounts as you can trading your own money, but without any of the risk. The only risk that you ever have is your time and your monthly cost of owning that account. If you, once you pass the account, like for instance, my 50K accounts, I just have to make $3,000 on it, and then it switches over to what they call a PA account, where the money actually is mine. And they have two ways you can do it. You can either pay $80 a month, and if you're new to trading and you're still don't have your strategies locked in, that's probably a better way, because you could end up blowing it in the first month and it cost you $80. But if you are pretty confident in your strategy and you think you can get through and not blow up that account, they have a deal where you can just pay them $140 and then you never have to pay them again. That PA account is yours, and everything you make from it for the first $25,000 is yours, and then after that they take 10%, which is still fantastic. All these things mean nothing if you're a good trader. 10% here, 10% there. I mean, that's the bottom line. People say, oh, they're just trying to make you lose, and they're set it up for make it hard. It's like, no, it's just as hard to trade your own money. Just reduces the risk. Anyway, enough about Apex. All right. Now, I might be, if we get a little bit of a pullback to this 9, I might be inclined to take a little nibble here. It's starting to feel kind of topped out, like we've already are reaching the top of this. Now this did pierce the 9, so theoretically I would go long above this bar, but that's a pretty big bar, 66. That's a 5-point bar. That's a lot of risk, because I would want to put my stop loss below this bar, and that's a lot of risk. Plus, we've broken out of this channel, which I kind of would be expecting this thing to come back down to the bottom of the channel. So I think I might hold off on that. Let's see what the next couple bars look like. So now our risk would be a little bit less. Where's the top of this thing? Yeah. Top right now is 64.75, so we'd be going long at 65. But we want to wait till this bar finishes. Still has 30 seconds left on this bar. I'm going to get an order ready just for the heck of it. See if this thing ends really bearish, I might bail on it. That bar's getting kind of big. I'd be going in at 65, where I'd say that's a 3-point bar right now. That's not bad. Let me change this. Oh, I've got that one set to sim. I'm in this trade at 65, and we'll see where it goes. It might top out at the top of this. We'll see what happens. That might end up being a double top. Let me take this off this screen temporarily. All right, this is the chart that I'm actually trading on. So we'll see, it's kind of choppy in here. We might bail on it, or we'll just take our loss. That's a 3-point loss on here. Actually, I'm going to move that below there. And we still might get stopped out, but I'm going to be one tick below this bar here. We were momentarily positive on it, but we'll see what happens. Nope, stopped out. It was about $150. No problem though. It was a little bit suspect anyway, because this really didn't pull back. Plus we broke out of this channel here, which is troublesome. All right, let's wait for the next one. We were sort of expecting this thing to pull back down to here, but it did bounce off that 20. And that is what they call a higher low. The low of this bar is higher than this last pullback here. We'll see that 20 is holding very nicely. So if the measured move played out, we should have a decent run to about there. The top of this channel what was resistance may have become support now. We see that we're getting some decent wicks here as it rejects this line. This is a second entry long here. When this thing broke. And it failed. That was a failed second entry long here. So it was a legit trade right off the 21 EMA second entry long, but it failed. And again, you know, the fact that this broke this channel makes all of these sort of low probability trades. We really expect this thing to pull back to the bottom of the channel and actually maybe even breach it. Yeah. And that's pretty much what's happening here. Yeah, look at that. Yep, back down to the bottom of the channel. Off of this, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits on this 105 EMA have been rejected. This one looks like it could succeed. Let's try it again. What was this? This was 55.5. That's 2.5 points here. Just that rejection right there. I don't really have a trade here. If it follows along this line more or less, a breakout of this down here could be interesting. I don't know that I'd call it a high probability trade, but let me remind you, do not copy my trades. As you see, I just threw away 150 bucks. That could have been yours. Still just waiting and watching. In my world, this is sort of a bit of a no man's land. We're below the 21 EMA, but above the 105. So that is in conflict with my most common trade, which would be to go long above this 105 and a pullback to these lower time frame, lower bar count, lower averages, I should say, lower EMAs. When we're below the 20 EMA, generally you're looking for shorts, and if you're above the 105, you're generally looking at long. So that's in conflict with each other here, at least my way of looking at it. So a pullback to this doesn't necessarily mean anything to me. Now, if we got a second entry short here, maybe. But we don't have one really setting up yet. This is just a first entry. You know, when I'm just feeling wild and crazy, a lot of times I'll just a pullback like this to the 21 EMA. I'll go ahead and take it short, try to get a point out of it, and that'd be 50 bucks with one contract. And so you can see here 60, so 59.5. There was your point right there already. Yeah, it was even more now. So 60.5. That was at least 2 points. So you could have at least picked up the one for sure. Trade like that, you'd want to keep your stops tight. You know, don't let it go more than maybe 2. And that's the problem is you're going to have to, if you're going to go for 1 point, you're still going to have at least a 2-point stop. So that's a 2-to-1 risk ratio. Not in your favor, but this has got to be a pretty high probability trade. Just ticking off of the 21 after a nice pull down like that. We're heading back down. All right, so now this line is looking pretty good. So possibly we could be looking for a long once it breaks out of this. We'll give it a try. When I say I'm a little bit loose with my trading today, and keep that in mind because I'm using a PA account that is almost blown anyway. I've got, after that loss, I probably only have about $850 drawdown, so you may actually witness me blowing this account up. It will be very non-dramatic. It'll just be on my other screen. It will show account is closed. It's no longer valid. It was interesting that I saw that Apex, for the first time I've ever seen it, is that they've given you half off the restart. So if you get antsy and you want to, if you blow up an account, instead of paying the $80 restart fee, you can pay it'll just be $40, which is right about what you paid for it in the first place with the 50% off account code. If you haven't already done so, I would encourage you to try Apex because it's done wonders for me. Always pays out when you request your profits. There was a report of some guy like pulled out something like $800,000 in 1 month. It's crazy. I think a guy like that though is they're actually copying his trades, so they're not just paying out $800,000 out of their general fund. He actually was trading live markets. When you just get your PA account, you're still trading sim, but they're still, they treat it as real money, but they're not putting themselves at risk. When you become a top-notch trader and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, they are no longer doing that. All right, this is looking interesting. Maybe a break above the 21 EMA and this trend here could be a decent long, but somewhat risky. We'll watch it a little bit. Yeah, somewhere up here, I think I'm going to try along. Again, these are not high probability trades. These are just me trying to fix this, or just trying to maybe salvage this destroyed evaluation account. I mean, if I lose $800, the account's over anyway. I've got about 15 accounts though. I didn't trade much during the holidays and New Year, so I'm a little bit rusty anyway, so I'm trying not to put my important accounts at risk, any real money accounts. So keep that in mind as you're watching me trade, that these are eval accounts right now. I will let you know if I'm in a PA account where I'm going to be more cautious. Yeah, that rejected. But now we're getting down here where we're at the bottom of this channel and the 105 and possibly breaching this trend here. So I may be looking for a longs if it breaks up into this area here. I would wait until it clearly was above the 21, this turquoise colored line. That's the 21 EMA. My lines that you see on the screen are, the red is 105 EMA, which is the equivalent of a 21 EMA on a 5-minute chart. It's 5 times as big. And the yellow one is the 9 EMA, and the turquoise is 21 EMA. EMA is exponential moving average. Some guys will use just a SMA, which is a simple moving average, but the EMA puts a little more weight on the more recent bars. Simple moving averages, it takes, like say on a 9 EMA, it takes 9 bars and averages them together, and that's what forms this line. Not exactly sure about how the math works on the EMA, but somehow it weights the more recent bars more than the older bars. On the short times, like 9 EMA and the 9 SMA are pretty similar because you're only dealing with 9 bars. But when you get to 100, it can be quite a bit different, the SMA versus the EMA. We are just chopping around here. Nothing to do yet, in my opinion. But this is starting to get a little bit interesting. Let's for the heck of it, let's take a little stab if it breaks this, and we'll keep our stop loss at 3 points, and then we'll be looking for 5 points. Don't copy my trades. I know you're thinking about it. Don't do it. If we were to enter this trade, I think I might be inclined to put my stop down here, but my goodness, that is over 4 points. But that would be the logical place to put it. Okay, we're in this trade. Well, these are way too big. Let's put it there for now. This, we only want 5 points. What's that? It's about 64. Quarter, something like that. See if we can get some more out of this. Yeah, looks like it's losing momentum. We'll see. We'll be patient with it. In the 60s, let's see if we can get it up to 64 or 65. Might take our profit at the top of this channel, just because that's a logical place for it to reverse. All right, let's see what's going to happen here. We're taking a little bit of heat. Only down about 25 bucks here, but we don't have a lot of drawdown on this eval count. Let's see what we get. We'd like to get that 5 points, but hard to say. A lot of resistance in here. This was an area of liquidity, obviously, because all right, we're up about 175 bucks here. Let's move our stop back to break even here, +1, and see if what we can get out of this. I think I'm going to close this out at the top of here. Yeah, we'll take it. Probably should have just moved my my take profit to there instead of marketing out of that. I lost a tick. But you can see how valuable having these trend lines are, because otherwise if that trend line wasn't there, it would have just looked like, out in the middle of space. But you see, this was a pretty valid set of trend lines here. Anyway, that trade basically just got us back the money we lost on this trade back here. I think that's what the trade was. I lost about $150 earlier somewhere. Oh, here. This right here. That was a $150 loss, and this is basically was a $150 win, so kind of a scratch for this morning. We could have stayed in that trade, I suppose. Yeah, we may be heading up to the new high for the day. Well, now we'll wait to see if we get a pullback to this 9 EMA, and if we do, I may take another long. But yeah, it appears that we are heading back up to the highs. Just watching right now. This may be a setup. We'll see. We haven't touched that 9 yet. I'm waiting for a pullback to the 9, and then we may take a long. If you don't mind, if you intend to sign up for an Apex account of any size, if you don't mind using my code, it helps out the stream, and it helps you out too. Get half off, and it doesn't cost you anything extra to use my code. All right, the high of this bar is 63.25, so we'd be going 63.5. I'm a little bit worried about going long right into the top of that channel, but I think it's going to break out, and I think we're going to be seeing some new highs here. About 20 seconds left on this. We'll give it a try. We haven't went up, bit of a pullback to the 9 EMA. We're above the 105 EMA, but we'll see. If this takes a dive, then we'll get out of this. We'll pull that order. Yeah, let's pull that order. That's moving down kind of aggressively. Still just waiting and watching. Not seeing too much exciting here. This looks like it is starting to get heavy here. See what the NASDAQ is doing here. I have way too much crap going on this little NASDAQ screen. NASDAQ holding above its 21 EMA. ES breaking down here. Another example of this breakout. Rides up, breaks through, heads down, especially once it breaches this 21 EMA. Yeah, very heavy. Boy, this 105 has been very reliable this morning, hasn't it? Look at all the hits on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a bunch of hits here. It never was able to pierce it. Pulled back again, rejected it. Interesting. We're still in this uptrend, but is following this channel pretty well now. Get rid of this measured move, never really panned out. That was interesting. After that many hits on it, though, I wouldn't be inclined to take that trade just because after that many hits, it could easily have failed that finally now. I still think we're looking for a new high here. On this battered evaluation account, I am going to possibly take a long if it were to break up above this bar here and outside of this trend line. Channel may look more something like that. you're just tuning in, we're pretty much flat. We took one trade. I started the day up about $150 from pre-market trading. Proceeded to give it back on my first trade of the cash market, and then I got that back. So we're at about $140 on the day. Basically 3 trades, one pre-market, one early market, and one not too long ago. You can see the arrows up on the screen here. This was our first trade after the New York Open. That was a loser. Here's the second one, but we started the day up 150 from pre-market earlier. Back here somewhere. All right, so right now we're thinking maybe if it breaks this trend line off the bottom of this channel and off the 105, very similar trade to this one back here, maybe we go long. Points would be 66 up here somewhere. Yeah, I still think we're looking for a new high, which would be up here at 66.75. This is getting pretty choppy here though. All right, at some point I'm going to put my stop loss at break even here. I'm hoping that this is going to continue to break up and hit my 5-point mark, but who the heck knows? We're only up about 70. Oh, it's pulling back. Keep an eye on it. I'm going to try to be patient just because, your first inclination is as soon as you're in the money to try to take the profits, but you really need to try to let your winners run a little bit. Like I said, once this gets a little bit more momentum, I'll move my stop up, but right now we're going to have to be a little more patient because it could easily come back just to grab these stops and then move up. Yeah, so now that it pulled back to grab some stops here, and we'll see if it continues on its way up or if that was just a trap here. Now, if we continue up, I'll be more inclined to move my stop up here just because they'll have already grab these stops down here. But again, if that was just a trap and we're heading down anyway. We do have the 21 EMA, and it seems to be holding at the moment, so we'll just keep our eye on it. Things are kind of slowing down here, aren't they? About 10:30 Eastern. Coming up on 10:30 at least. I'm going to try to stay with this trade for a while. I'm getting to a point where I think I will put my stop loss there, though. I mean, when I say there, I mean pull it up to break even. Let's do that now. All right, can't lose on this trade at least, but we're up about $100. Ah, crap, look at that, it's reversing. Might take me out. We'll see. There we go. We got a little bit of movement. Still like to see a new high on the day, I would think. Trying to be patient, but it is bouncing against this previous peak. I'm rejecting it. See if it can break through. See if we can make a run for this new high. I'm placing my stop a tick below the previous bar. So at least we'll lock in something. I don't want to go back, carry this thing back down to zero. But I am hoping for a new high. So I've got my take profit a tick below the previous high. I think that's a reasonable place to exit. I think we've got room up to about 68, but I'm going to take my profit here if I can get it. I took profits right below this bar here. I think we ended up about 130 bucks only, but it was a decent trade. Again, we're just trying to dig out of a hole on a Eval account, especially leading up to CPI tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit weird. Yeah, that was good. Good exit. Make sure we got a little bit late. I was trying to get my stop up a tick below, excuse me, a tick below this bar, and ended up losing an extra tick, I think. But I really thought we were going to make a run up to here, possibly even as high as 68. Did not make it. At least not this time. Surprised it reversed that hard. You know, this little shooting star doji here sort of led me to believe that we might continue up, but what did we make on that? That was from here to there, 137.50, 2.75, 2 3/4 points. We're up 273, 270, 270, $272.70. So we had 3 winners, 1 loser so far. I probably, instead of waiting for this thing to pull back below this bar, I probably should have just taken my profit at the top of this channel. But I really thought we were, it never even really occurred to me that we were going to even pull back. I really thought we were going to go test this high here. And I'm looking at, there's a lot of orders sitting up here at 68. So I thought we would actually go try to collect some of those. But we did not. Rejected here. It's odd to me when it like doesn't gets that close to the previous to the high of the day and it doesn't test it. We'll be here for another half hour or so. I usually end my trading at about 11 Eastern. It really is following this channel. Oh, I mean, here's the open right here. So 8:30. So it's the last hour we've been in this channel. It's obeying it very well. And the 105 has been, look at it, hit the 105 again. I mean, look how many times it's hit that thing. Doom, 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 doom. Really holding that 105. Which, if you look over here on the 5-minute chart on the right, that red line is the 21 EMA on a 5-minute. That's why this is 105, because it's 5 times less than this one. Each one of these bars is 5 minutes, obviously. Each one of these bars is 1 minute. 5 times as many bars. So to capture the same number of bars on a 1 minute as you did on a 5 minute, you have to increase your EMA by 5. So that's why this is 105 EMA. All right, now we're breaking down. Yeah, but let's see if it's rejecting it, because we've already been down to this level once. watching now. If you're just tuning in, we're up $273-ish. We had 3 trades, 1 pre-market and 3 during the cash market starting at 9:30. We had 1 winner before the open, and then we had 2 winners and 1 loser after the open. Not clear what's happening here. We're having a bit of a meltdown. It's a small range, though. We're only down, what? We're up 12 points on the day. And the difference between here and the bottom is 15 points. Where did we open? Yeah, right around here. So the whole range from the open is 15, 16 points. Yeah, that's a pretty impressive breakdown there. I'm glad we got out when we did. Just a reminder, we are trading a evaluation account from Apex Fund Trader Funding, and I was screwing around with this one particular Eval account. I have quite a few of them. I think I have a total of 15, 14, and this was just sort of a cheap account I got when they had a brief 90% off. And so I decided to play with it yesterday afternoon, and yesterday's afternoon's trading was crazy. I don't even know why I was messing with it. And I managed to draw this account down $1,500. There's only a $2,500 drawdown on the account. So I'm just fooling around with it right now, taking some possibly lower probability trades just to try to build this thing back up or lose it. And it doesn't matter because I really think it was $18 for this account. If you want to try out one of these accounts, go to the Apex Funded Trader account, and if you don't mind using my code, it'll save you some money, 50% off, and I get a little something for you using my code. Doesn't cost you any more or less to use my account versus anybody else's, and it helps my new little stream to make a few bucks. Also, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you hit that bell icon, you'll know when I go live in the morning, so you don't have to check. As soon as you will be warned of incoming trades. And also, please remember that I am just some random guy on the internet. Don't copy my trades. This is for entertainment purposes only. We're just waiting to see how this is going to play out. Now we are below the 105, so we might be inclined to go ahead and take a short here. Once it touches this 9 EMA, we might consider taking a short below the bar that pierces it. We do have a little bit of room, and this did come down pretty cleanly. And pullback is not as clean as you might like, which basically just ties in with our theory here that if we get a breakout of this trend, wrong, we get basically following this trend up, and we're hoping for it to break down. Okay, so there's our trigger bar. The low of this is 55.75, so we would be going for 55.50 right I'm sorry, 54.50, right? Yeah, 54.50. This bar here, yeah, 55.50. So right there, that bar still has about 10 seconds left on it. Let's go ahead, put that in there. New bar should form any second. 2 more seconds. All right, there's a new bar. So we'll see. It's not a bad setup. I mean, you know, we had a pretty nice drawdown. I mean, a pullback, and then a pullback to the 9. And hopefully we continue down from here. We'll give it a shot. I don't know why my brackets keep reverting back to a different set. I don't know if I can set these to be defaults or something. I gotta kill this and put it back in. 55.50. Okay. And this bar is about to close too, which would mean 56.50. We would be moving that up to. That bar's about to close. Okay. See what happens. We'd be looking for 5 points, which would be 61.50, 51.50 rather. Right there. That's where we would be hoping to go with this. We'll see how it plays out. If it makes a move up, we'll cancel this order. We'll see if the 105 and the 21 EMA hold here. It's the red and the turquoise lines. Now this bar is going to close too, so we have to decide whether we want to go ahead and give this a try or not. Got about 14 seconds left on this bar. Two, one, there we go. And we're in this trade. Still didn't work right. All right. So this is going to be about 3 points. So that would be about 60. And this is 5 points, 52. That's where we want that to be. Let's see if it happens. So far, not too impressive. It's a long wick here. Usually we would have a nice, it would be a pretty quick and aggressive move down if that was going to work. But again, this is just an Eval account that is on the on the edge of annihilation anyway. So we're not too worried about losing money on it. But if we can dig our way back, that would be nice. Movement is actually not that bad today, considering tomorrow is CPI day. Now this would have to form a new low to get my full 5 points, and I'm not sure that that's going to happen. Yeah. Getting choppy, plus we're getting some pretty long wicks in here, which is kind of bullish. But we will resist the urge to move that stop. Yep, that was a trap. hopefully they're just going back to collect some stops and then they'll head down. So you got wicks on both sides. That just shows equilibrium between buyers and sellers, I think. They're getting pretty choppy in here. But we'll watch it. But it does look pretty bullish right now. We're above the 21 EMA. Lots of green bars. Could very well take out our stop and then head down anyway. And it's just fell asleep here, didn't it? Down about 75 bucks on this trade. Looking kind of bullish right now. I'm thinking it's going to break to the upside, unfortunately. But when we get into this chop, it becomes pretty unpredictable because we have such a equal number of buyers and sellers here that it just takes someone to come in with a big buy or sell order and move it one direction or another. Yeah, it's looking like we're going to get stopped out here. Yep, stopped out. We're still up $120 on the day. But that's a lesson I learned is take your stops. And yesterday I was screwing around with this account, and that's how I lost the $1,500 is by just keep moving the stops, adding to the losers, that sort of thing. And this could easily just turn around and do exactly what we had anticipated it doing. All right, well, we'll regroup here and wait for the next trade. We're only going to be live streaming for another 10 minutes, and then we will shut it down for the day. And we will be back again tomorrow at 9:20-ish Eastern Time. Be sure to subscribe and like the stream and click on that little bell icon, and then it'll alert you when I go live in the mornings. I'll also be, if I can't make it for one reason or another, I'll paste that. I'll put that in the community section of the page. Yeah, look at that. It's coming down right. Look at that. We almost top ticked that with our 3-point. I'm inclined to go short here. And these are so screwed up. Let's see what happens. The reason I took this is we broke through this trend line and we're below the 20 EMA now. I might have gotten in a little premature, but again, with this account, I'm being a little more reckless just because I don't care about it. We have a whole $18 investment in this account. And it's almost blown anyway, so within $1,000 of being blown at least. So no fear. I stuck my take profit down here a tick above the previous lows. I'm hoping that this will make a run to test those. And I put my stop a tick above this high point here. We're up about 110 bucks on this one. We'll see. Not as aggressive as I'd hoped. I thought we were going to see a nice little bottom drop out of it. They may be coming back to test those stops again. If people had put their stops at break even, they'll come collect those and then hopefully back down. A lot of the price action traders are only looking for a point or two, 4 or 8 ticks, maybe 10. This time of day, I usually do go for the 5, which is 20 ticks, 5 points. But yeah, this is just a bunch of chop here. Might just take a small profit on this and move on. We'll watch it. This is not my real money anyway. This is just an eval. A nearly busted one at that. If I saw a really amazing trade, I might actually go in with, maybe 5 contracts and just go all or nothing, Either blow up the account or save it. Save the account. There we go. That's a nice move to the downside. Maybe it will reach our 5 points. I think I'll move this to break even now, plus a tick. So we can't lose any money on this trade. I don't have a lot of drawdown on this account, so I have to kind of be pretty conservative with my stop loss. Hopefully we're going to test that new low. There we go. We're out. That was nice. So now we're up 377 on the day. Let's see what my drawdown is now on this account. I'm going to guess. Let me see. Grab the right mouse here. All right, so my drawdown on this particular account is, let's see here. About $1,325. That's actually not too bad. I might be able to salvage this one. And you see our stop loss a tick above this bottom was a pretty good one because I think we pretty much knew it would at least test it, reject it, and it may continue on through it, but definitely typically will bounce off of this previous swing low. That's exactly what it did. It did tick through it. We could have got an extra point. That's about a point. 52 and a half, 51 and a quarter, so point and a quarter. But you see it bounced off of it, but now we're heading down again. So we might have been able to ride this thing down. But you got to make the decision as to what you want to do and just stick to it. And that was 5 points. I mean, you can't criticize 5 points. I mean, that's a nice move. We bought in here. Yep, 5.25 points. 262. Getting close to the end of the stream. We'll see if anything else forms. Right now, wow, yeah, we could have ridden that. Boy, look at that. That is a nice move down. Could have stuck with that trade a little bit more. I really shouldn't do all these woulda, shoulda, couldas because it just makes me crazy, but I do like to know. That's almost a 10-point move now. That went 9.25, $462. Didn't quite make the 10. That would have been a $500 trade, but it didn't quite make it there. But again, I started this day with about $800 worth of drawdown on this evaluation account, and we managed to get it back up to over $1,300. The maximum drawdown on the thing is $2,500, so we're back to about half our drawdown. You can work with $1,300 in drawdown. I mean, when you get down into $500, $600, $700, it's pretty hard. Unless you're going to trade micros, and then it takes forever, and it's not worth it because while you're mussing around with this almost failed evaluation account, all your other accounts are making no money. And if you're trying to do this for a living like I am, you have to try to make money every day. So you have to trade your PA accounts at some point, or else, I mean, today this is just a play day because I'm not using any real money. So I've literally not made any actual money today because I can't spend this. But this is a good day to. I before I was streaming, I would have probably typically taken this day off because of the CPI numbers tomorrow, and I would have anticipated the price action to be kind of crappy today, but it turned out to be actually pretty good. And I may trade after the stream's over. We'll just have to see how the price action goes and try to make a few bucks that I can actually put in my pocket. Only got another minute or so, and I'm gonna pull the plug on this. If you received any entertainment value from today's stream, I'd appreciate a like. If it's not too much trouble, and also subscribe. And if you hit that bell icon, you'll be notified when I go live every morning. Or if I post something in the community section that says I can't make it today, you'll know that too. And of course, as always, if you want to try an Apex account yourself, I can endorse it. They're the real deal. It's not a scam. Not going to cheat you. And they have a 50% off offer now. And if you use my my code for your account, I get a little something something. It'll support the stream. Help me move forward. But if you don't, that's fine too. I'm here for free regardless of whether you do it or not. All right, I think that's about it for today. I don't think we're going to see anything set up. It's now 11 o'clock Eastern. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.